What's up? Okay, I don't need this. I don't think. Do I? You guys can still hear me. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've been having trouble lately with my equipment. I don't know, maybe it's time to get some new stuff. But we're gonna start the show all over and over again. I totally deleted the other one. I just gave up. I deleted it, created a new show, and so here we are. So I'm gonna start from the top. I was explaining how we do things here, which is the people send questions in. These questions were all sent in advance. Um, and my cousin puts them into a document. I read them aloud. I answer off the cuff. And the way that it's, we've been doing it this way for years. So I don't really know anymore about these people's life and situation than which is in this letter. So please don't ask me for more information because I don't have it. I only know what you know. As far as, if you want to submit a question, because you want to get your question answered, there's instructions going along the bottom of the screen right there. Tell you how to submit a question so you can be in a future show. It's anonymous. We don't ask any names or anything like that. You are required to put in your email address though, in the event that we have questions. Because sometimes what you write isn't really clarifying enough, and Candace will reach out to you for further information before she puts your letter in the column. So where you go, that's what you do. You get free relationship advice. You have to wait a week or two for it though. So if it's something critical, you might not want to do that. But you go to debsterism.com, click the tab that says Get Advice, and complete the form, and that's all you have to do. Okay. Now let's get started. We got 25 questions. We already did 2 shows. Well, technically that's last week. This is the beginning of a new week. And we did 2 18 questions, or what, 18, and then one was 20. So today is 25. All right. This first letter, I feel like I'm having deja vu since I already answered the first 2 letters. Let's see, is this right? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so this young lady's 22 to 27 from Calgary, Canada, and she was asking if it was okay to quote withhold nook in this context that she's going to describe. She's been seeing a guy for about 3 months, about once or twice a week. It was going really well. They texted every day. He tells the things he wants to do with her in the future. We care for each other in unique ways, etc. And then she says she had finally asked him what the deal was, and we never really were clear. But my relationship dating profile says I'm looking for a long-term relationship. He basically hit me with that. He loves what we're doing. He sees promise in it. And although he's not really ready for a long-term relationship, he wants to see what it goes, drag and drama. To me, it didn't feel as promising as it sounded. I've heard those words from men before, and it means, quote, I don't want to commit yet, but I'm lonely and I like the nook and the attention. He seems very sweet and genuine, but I basically told him very politely that I'm perfectly okay taking it slow, but I prefer casual dates from now on, meaning public, casual hangouts. I can't do friends with benefits. I'm tired of having men having nook with men just for them to keep me in their orbit. He seemed thrown off by it and hesitantly accepted my statement. But Auntie, I'm a little heartbroken to be honest, and I'm honestly considering just ending it. I don't consider it withholding, nook nook really. I feel like I'm just protecting myself. Did I mess up? And my response in the previous video, which I'm going to repeat, is absolutely not. I think you're a very smart young lady in the 22 to 27 age group. I'm glad you recognize this game early because you're still young enough. You're only 22 to 27, so you're gonna run into many more men like this that just want to try to hit you with that. Well, let's just see where it goes. Yeah, we're gonna see where it goes, but you're not gonna be seeing where it goes by hopping in my bed. It's not gonna happen. And if more women took that stance, and even if they say, well, let's be in a relationship, that don't mean nothing either. Because unless they put in the requisite time and you see actions that really show you that he wants to be in a relationship, he's doing things for you unasked. He volunteers. He's always where he says he's going to be. When you need something, he's Johnny on the spot with it. Usually, like I said, if they really are into you, you don't even have to ask. They kind of anticipate because they're paying that much attention to you and what's making you happy and what's making you sad and what's making you upset and anxious and that kind of stuff. They're tuned into you. And so you have a guy that you have to ask, well, what are we? And all this kind of stuff. That it ain't happening, chick. Just save your words. So are doing really well. Maintain those strong boundaries and make sure that you're dating more men than just him because it's not your man. It's not your boyfriend. Don't get it twisted. Okay. Don't start thinking that, well, I'm only going to see him. Don't do that to yourself. You're a single young lady, uncommitted, could date around with a bunch of different guys until you find one that really, rocks your world. You rock his, and then y'all can have a relationship. But don't settle for these clowns with this nonsense, this drag and drama, these games. Don't do it. Good for you. Keep up the good work. And letter number 2, it's female, 28 to 34 from Orlando. Her boyfriend is also 28 to 34. She says, my fiance keeps leaving the freezer open and ruining all of our food. How do I get him to close it? I've been with him for 6 years, living together for 5. Last year, we purchased a standing freezer for our laundry room, but he doesn't close the door all the way. And then the frozen meats thaw out, and we have to throw everything away. After him doing this twice, I put a sign on it that says, make sure the freezer door is closed. That means you. After that didn't work, I bought child locks so when he closes the freezer, he can latch the child lock. It had been about 3 months or so since he left the freezer open after this fix. However, when I went downstairs this morning, the child lock was not latched rather. The door was open 2 inches. 2 inches, that's a pretty good amount. And Costco-sized portions of ribeye steak, salmon, shrimp, ground turkey, chicken breast, etc., hundreds of dollars worth of food were totally thawed and even warm, so they were too far gone to be saved even by cooking them. What should my next steps be to make sure we stop the food waste? And my advice to her was that she realized 2 things. Um, to switch responsibility for buying all of the stuff that would go in the freezer to his wallet, right? So she can buy, other stuff, paper towels, dish soap, uh, I don't know, bar soap, shampoo, toilet tissue, Kleenex, all that kind of stuff. She can buy all that stuff and then make him buy the meat. And she can buy the fruits and vegetables. She can buy some groceries, but it's stuff gonna be in the refrigerator. Okay. It's not gonna be stuff that's in that freezer. And so that when it rots, when he does that, then he's going to be responsible. So since you guys aren't married, it's not joint money. He's going to be solely responsible for replacing all of those things. You let him have to go spend those $500 a couple of times for being careless, and he'll quickly stop. But see, right now you're helping absorb the cost. I can tell because otherwise you wouldn't be complaining about it because it would be his red wagon. And it would be just his problem. But you're not. You're all involved in it, so that means it's your money too that's going to waste. I would have went on strike totally on that mess. Like, oh no, after the first time, that would have been like, oh, yeah, I know you're gonna replace all this meat because I would be mad that he wasted my money. So I would send him to Costco to rebuy everything, and that's how it would have happened with me. It would have been no wait till the third time, after the first time, because you're irresponsible, you caused damages, and you're gonna rectify the problem. So, and my second comment is, how long y'all supposed to date and have this fiance? You ought to know after 6 years if you want to be married or not. Let's be making moves in that direction. This is just silly. dating somebody for 6 or 7 years, talking about my fiance. You girls fall for that trick. Hey, you be a perpetual fiance instead of a bride and a wife. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, and to me, it's like whatever. I don't really care, but y'all seem to like that. All right, question number 3. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group in Manchester, England. The male's 28 to 34. Summary of issue. My boyfriend said it's not his responsibility to defend me from his family. I'm 24, my boyfriend's 29. We've been together for 4 years. I've mentioned to him that sometimes I feel uncomfortable because his mother and sister aren't always kind to me. Sometimes their disrespect is obvious and sometimes it's subtle. His mother minimizes the way she treats me, and his sister tried to lie to me once I mentioned something that she did. I also asked him to stand up for me more, and sometimes he does, but he recently told me that it's not his job. He thinks that I should stand up for myself when his family disrespects me. I disagree with that and think that it's his responsibility because it's his family. I would defend him if my family were disrespecting him. Also, I feel like he puts his family above me, and I find it hard to believe that he doesn't notice when they disrespect me. Somehow, he always seems to notice when men look at me in public, but apparently, he doesn't notice all the times his sister and mother disrespect me. He talks a lot about how unity matters to him and wants to have a relationship with his family. I respect that, but I don't feel comfortable around people who clearly don't want me to be there. He seems to live in a world where his family is always kind to everyone, which just isn't true. Him defending his family by excusing their behavior and saying how much they did for me, like inviting me on vacation, for example, really discourages me from telling him how I feel. I want to give him the unity that he wants, but I also don't want to deal with disrespect, especially while feeling like an outsider. He's usually a very logical and skeptical person, but quickly believes his family's lies. It's disappointing because he's usually not like that. I feel like I can't have a good relationship with people who can't acknowledge their mean behavior, and I don't know what to do. Which measures should I take? Is this relationship even worth it? And that I think is the point at which my equipment started going haywire. But my response to this young lady in the situation is, you've been dealing with this for 4 years, and I want to ask you why. Why, in what universe does being disrespected by your man's people make you want to stay in a relationship? Ain't no D that good. Okay. Ain't no man that good. I'm sorry. If he can't separate, put them two heifers in check and say, look, don't be talking to her like that. You want me to be coming around here, you better straighten up your act. I mean, that kind of stuff. This is uncalled for, mama. Don't be doing that kind of stuff. It's embarrassing to me that that you're my mother and you're my sister, and I can't even take you out in public because you don't even know how to fucking act. See, stuff like that, that's what come from me. But the fact that he is okay with this and he's not really checking them. You say sometimes he does, but sometimes isn't good enough. He should shut this all the way down. And so the fact that he tolerates it and lets them do this, continue doing this to you, means that that's his like tacit complicity with it. So he's basically like, it's okay. He's making it okay for them to do this and treat you this way. Um, he thinks it's not his job. Okay, that's all you need to know. You have a man who won't defend you. And I want to ask you, if he won't defend you against your family, his family, please understand. Let me paint a scenario for you because see, I don't like to just look at what's happening right now. I like to see big pictures. And you have a person who doesn't support you in relationship to his blood relatives. Now, say you have a child and he has some ratchet uncle. The uncle does something to the kid comes and reports it. But that's gonna mean he has to decide with this kid, which comes from you, against his family. Which one do you think he's gonna side with? See, this is the kind of way that I look at these kind of things. I don't look at just what's right here, right now. I look at that attitude, that behavior, that character, and what that means long term. In a situation like this is not a man that you would want to marry or to have children with. You don't want to bring kids into a situation like this. Just because, they treat you disrespectfully and talk crazy to you, what do you think they're going to do to your kid? Yeah, it would be half his, but it would be half yours too. And if they can't treat the child's mother with respect, why do you think they would treat your kid with respect? That's your baby. So all in all, I'm not seeing where this relationship makes any sense for you to continue. It's like you're hanging on to something that should have been let go as soon as this got started. As soon as they disrespected you the first time, well, okay, if it had happened to me, because I cussed out one of my boyfriends, I cussed out his mother and his aunt. But that's when I was young and wild, and I did things like that. But um, they came at me crazy, so I cussed him out. And then I was done with his ass. That was it. Because one thing you're not gonna do is talk crazy to me. He's like, you should have raised your son and your nephew better, and then we've been having this problem. So all of this drama is your problem. And so when they got started with me, I would have stood up and cussed them out and said, you hunky, stupid bitches. What the fuck? And just lost my mind on them right quick. You're not gonna be talking to me all kind of crazy. I don't know who the hell you think you are. And then I said, and you little monkey motherfucker right here, you don't have enough sense to stand up to these bitches and protect your woman. You know what? You don't deserve one. And I would have got in my car and left, and that would have been the end of that relationship. But that's how I do things. I have a very strong boundaries and very clear on what I will and will not accept when it comes to disrespect. I'm just not having it. I'm not going to accept it. And as a matter of fact, on November 8th, I'm going to be doing a webinar on disrespect. You can find out some information on my YouTube channel. The Debsterism is the name of the channel on YouTube. And sign up for that if you want. I mean, it's kind of early, but you can still start signing up for it now. Because I find that women accepting disrespect is the number one problem in relationships today. It's the number one problem, more than abuse. Well, I mean, abuse is part of disrespect, but the problems that women are having with their self-esteem, their confidence, not feeling loved, and all is all surrounding the fact that they tolerate disrespectful behavior, treatment, and words from these alleged boyfriends and husbands. So we're gonna be talking. I'm gonna be giving you like the lecture of life on November 8th about disrespect and why you accept it. And you need to be ready. Those of you who sign up, be ready because I'm gonna be going in and get you straight. It's like, what the hell are you doing? All right, let's move on to question number 4. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Tucson, Arizona. Summary of issue. The guy I've been dating grabbed my butt while he was hugging me, and I feel disgusted. Wow. This was in public too. And I immediately backed away and told him to never do that to me in public again. He also bit my shoulder. He kept kissing me and hugging me and was all around so touchy. He did say he was a touchy person from the start, but God, man, control yourself. I feel disrespected and disgusted. I'm speeding home to take a shower. I kind of want to peel my skin off and wash the inside and burn my clothes. Why do guys think this type of thing is okay? Dang, she is seriously affected by this. And when you tell them what the fuck, they go, "Oh, sorry, I didn't notice." Sure, okay. My ass isn't that high up my back, and he's never done that before. We hugged plenty of times before, but today I just happened to wear clothes that he really liked, and said it accentuated my thighs. They're just overalls, and this doesn't give him the right to touch me in that way, especially in public. I feel so embarrassed. This kind of killed my feelings for him. What the fuck should I do? You should cut it off. See, again, disrespect. That was highly disrespectful. He just gonna be treating you like a hooker on the street, grabbing your ass, and you don't have that kind of relationship with him. Even if you do, you don't do stuff like that. You treat your woman with respect. And so, I mean, that's stuff you do at home. You know what I mean? You don't do that on the street like that. It just sends a message to public, like she's not nothing. You don't need to respect her. That's not how you do, young ladies. You hold their hands, you caress their cheek, you hold their face and then give them a little kiss on the forehead or something like that. You don't be grabbing their ass unless you just stupid and you just really don't give a fuck about her feelings about anything. You just getting your jollies and that's all you care about. So I'm telling you from my perspective, like I said, this disrespect thing is so rampant amongst young men these days. And so many young ladies accept it that these guys think it's okay. So when you find a woman that doesn't accept it, they be like, oh, shocked and surprised because it's so uncommon. Most women these days just seem to tolerate disrespectful behavior and disrespectful language like it's a matter of course. And it's sad that they do, but you know what that means? That they're so used to it, they don't even see it as being disrespectful. That to me is the real problem here, the real tragedy. So I'm suggesting, since you're that affected the way you want to start peeling off your skin and stuff, this is not the man for you. So whatever way you contact him, say, that last thing that you did, I find it so disappointing, so disgusting, it's so disrespectful. I'm done. So don't ever contact me again. I don't want to be treated like that in public, private, or any other time. You thinking, I don't know what you was thinking, but whatever it is, it's some shit I don't agree with, and so I'm done with you. It's a wrap, okay? Because see, if you don't do that, like it's gonna send a message that it's okay. Because yeah, you might throw a little fuss about it and stuff and be mad, but so what? He still got to do it, and he's still gonna set you up to do it again. Because that's what these types do. They push the envelope. So I'm suggesting, would you see what kind of character he has? You already know what type of man he is. Pay attention. What's up? Pay attention. Don't let him do this to you again. Let's move on to question number 5. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Memphis, Tennessee. The male is 42 to 49. Summary of issue. I am starting to regret my age gap marriage. Okay, to start, we met when I had just turned 22. I'm 27 now, and he is 43. Whoa. I didn't realize he was on his late 30s. He honestly looked and acted more like he was late 20s. When I first met him, he came along and offered security. I jumped on it. I know it was weird dating a guy so much older, but I've always had a rebellionish mindset. I don't know. I thought it was kind of hot. I blame everyone in my life for not telling me it was a questionable relationship. We got married when I was 25, and everything has been pretty all right on paper, so I feel bad complaining now. We're both on the same page with a lot of things. We live a pretty comfortable life as dinks. Thinks is dual income, no kids. That's I have to learn all these silly acronyms. And are building a solid foundation together. We show affection to each other, though sometimes it feels like he's just a roommate or a parental figure. Our nook nook life is boring, and that's also a big part of it. I know if I divorced him, we'd both be back to where we started financially, and I couldn't really afford to live where and how I do. I also don't want to go through the hassle of dating again. Anyways, even though I'd say our marriage is like 80% good and I feel love for him, I also realize how my frontal lobe is, now that my frontal lobe is fully developed, I'm growing out of this container of him making all the decisions. I probably wouldn't choose him as a partner if I had met him now. Really, the core of it all is that I'm carrying with a lot of resentment and an icky feeling that he pursued me when I was so young. So what if I was mature for my age? I couldn't even imagine dating a 22-year-old now, and I'm only 27. What are your thoughts? Well, too bad I mean, I don't know how long you've been on, visiting this channel, but I have several videos about them old men, young women relationships. Them old men, that is not the lick. That is not, at least you didn't have no babies with them. Okay, so you can escape, you know, pretty scot-free from this situation. Whatever you guys have, whatever assets you've acquired, you will be splitting them 50-50. So it's not like you'll be leaving with nothing. You'll be leaving with whatever. I mean, it might just be 50% of the debt. I don't know what y'all's situation is, but whatever it is, it's going to be half. And, you're older now, so you're more settled in your career. You make more money than you did at 22. So you'll be all right, even if you have to have a roommate. Get a spot with 2 bedrooms or something, and have a roommate to help with expenses. You'll be all right. It's not You don't need to stay married to this clown just because of where your zip code. Please believe that would be a foolish thing to do. So you'll be back in the dating market and stuff, but so it's like either you stay where you are and you shut up, or you move on. Those are your only 2 options. So I don't know what to tell you. It's not like you can't make him change into a younger man that's not boring in bed and, that thinks he's not gonna make all the decisions. That's why they pick younger women, because they want someone that they can control easier, because they can always pull out that, well, I'm older than you and I know more and you don't know nothing about this card. And in a lot of instances it'll be true. But now that you've gotten older, you've gotten wiser. And so that's not as true as it used to be. So now you're ready to move on to something else. So let's move on. Let's do that moving on ourselves. We're going to move on to question Let me see. Looking at the comments here. Question number 6. We have 25 questions today. For those of you who want to submit your own question, this is how you do it. It's scrolling across the screen there at the bottom. Submit it on debsterism.com. Click the tab that says Get Advice. Fill out the form and then press Send. Okay. Very simple, very easy, and there's no fee involved. This is free. Community service. All right. Question number 6. He says, it's a young man, 28 rather to 34, from Kansas City, Kansas. The female is also 28 to 34. So he says, so I mean, issue. My girlfriend is a Trump supporter and it's affecting our relationship. Is politics something to break up over? I think so, but let's see what's going on here. My girlfriend became a Trump supporter last year. I'm in the center politically, and she has always been more conservative, but also anti Trump. But last year, she changed and started to support Trump. This has caused a lot of conflict for us as I do not agree with him. I think he is a bad person, and it's hard for me to be with someone that likes him. Yeah, I'm with you. We've been fighting a lot, and I've been lonely lately. I'm not sure if this is something that's worth breaking up over, but I'm not sure I can keep going. I also miss the nook attention that has gone away during all of this. Is politics something that I should break up over? Okay, let, let me slow you down. It's not politics, it's mindset and character. Now, what I'm going to say to you, is when you politics itself is about a mindset. It's about your belief system. It's about your sense of right and wrong, your sense of humanity, as to which position you take. And it may change from issue to issue. It doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be one way. But that is the core of politics as well as religion. The two kind of go hand in hand because you see a lot, from my perspective, a lot of Trump supporters worship his ass like he's the second coming of Christ or something. I don't understand it personally, but it is what it is. So when you're with someone and their mindset is aligned with someone that you don't agree with, it would be like if she was aligned with Adolf Hitler. Okay, same kind of thing. I mean, you either in that camp and that agree with that mindset or you don't. And if you are going to be with someone, you guys have to have the same moral and value stance. Even people that have different religions, they still do really well together because their morals and values are aligned. Their goals in life are aligned. They just have, they just practice different religions. They respect each other's religion and it's fine. But when you have something like this where she's made a complete change in the middle of your relationship, she's like jump from your ship to another one, and you still trying to hang on to her. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You have it. You see it, but you're not ready to accept it yet, and that's fine. And, I'm not saying this is an overnight thing, but as this goes on, you will see that the policies that this man has about people in the country and seniors and children and poor people and stuff like that. Everybody's part of this country, and all the people you want to talk about the immigrants. Well, motherfucker, what is you? It's like, you got a wife that came from Russia or some fucking bumfuck place. And where the hell did you come from? So, I mean, it's like everybody except for the Native Americans that's in the United States, and then the black folks, because you didn't have a choice. We got forced to come here. But all them other white folks, y'all Joe came here because you wanted to. Even the Chinese came because they wanted to. So everybody else except natives who was already here and African slaves who were forced to come here came here voluntarily. So they're all immigrants. So the natives are looking at them like, I know you tripping. So I'm not seeing where this relationship is really going to work out long term. But like I said, it doesn't sound like you're there. You're not really ready to let it go yet. And that's fine. You still love the girl and you want things to work out. But I'm just telling you flatly, they're not going to. Thank you, Johnny. It's not going to. He wanted you to move to Mexico. I don't think so. Hey, Jarisha, you made it back. Yes, girl, I had to cancel. I had to delete that other show, schedule a whole new show. I just picked a graphic. I don't know what thumbnail I had used before. I have like dozens of them, and I just picked the first one and then recreated the whole show. Well, yeah, and sometimes ghosting is appropriate. I mean, like you doing these internet dates and stuff, you don't know nobody explanation. I mean, a lot of people do. Well, I don't feel a connection. But really, I mean, you get the message because I stopped taking your calls. I don't owe you shit. We're not a committed couple. We're not even a couple. We're not even dating. We went on 1 or 2 dates or something. I mean, big whoop de doo. So I mean, I there's videos on the channel about my position on ghosting. I am in full favor of it. I think more women need to do it because I think ghosting saved lives. You all want to meet and off in some dark place, and we're gonna have closure and all this old stuff, and then they find you in a shallow grave because the dude got mad and you were stupid enough to go meet him someplace. Goofy. Just go on with your life. Let's move on to question number 7. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group out of Los Angeles. The male's 35 to 41. Term issue. I'm afraid my boyfriend will always choose his mother over me. My boyfriend is 40 and Asian, and I am 33 and white. His mom is in her early 70s. She's widowed and in good health. Even though she hasn't directly asked us to live with her, he says that she indirectly has, whatever that means. And that makes a lot of financial sense. I just worry that nothing will ever feel like mine, but he doesn't get it and calls me selfish when I say that. He also expects me to live in the house while he goes away on work trips. Also, his mother right now is not sick and she's fully capable. I understand living with her if she were sick and not capable, but I wish we just had a finite period of time, even if it were just 6 months, to live alone. We are building an ADU for separate space now, which is a compromise it took him a while to make. I'm sad we will never get a finite period of time to be on our own. And she put a sad face, but he doesn't get it. He called me selfish for wanting this. Am I seeing this wrong? Does living with the mother in law ever work out well? I'm telling you what this is right now. Okay, you all are not only an interracial couple, you're intercultural. And that's where the problem is lying because white folks don't tend to have this. And of course, I'm generalizing, don't tend to have these strong kind of connections where there's generations of folks living together. That is very common in the Asian culture. So what the uncles and the aunts and the kids until they grow up and get married, and sometimes even after marriage they bring the spouse and everybody lives still in live in the house. And so the house is huge and everybody got their own room and stuff. And then they start having kids, they might move out then, but then if they have a big enough place, they'll just have room with the kids too. So it's a very common thing, and that's what you're up against. You being a Americanized Caucasian person are not used to that. But just look into it, look into the cultures and see how generational living, and it's across the board. I mean, you say he's Asian, but you don't say what, like Chinese, Korean, I mean Japanese, you don't say what, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a common thing. So that's what you're up against. So I'm going to tell you this. You trying to make that man denounce his culture and his mother who's by herself now, and all she just evidently has is him, and you think that your want to be separate is going to stir his heart. He's going to dump you because it's going to mean that he has to turn his back on his mama and his culture. What they call it, filial piety or something is the phrase I heard before. He's not going to do that. And you keep hounding him, he's going to get rid of you. And he is going to choose his mother. And I'm telling you, you need to either respect his culture and his setup, or you need to move on, get on with, do whatever you need to do. Because the way that you're handling things, you're going to destroy this relationship. It's not going to work. I mean, sometimes people should just not do intercultural dating if they don't want to learn about the culture of the person that they're going out with. You need to really look into this. I'm just telling you, just do some research and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this, it's like beating a dead horse. It's not going to go the way that you want it to. Question number 8. This is a female, the 42 to 49 age group out of London. The male's 50 to 56. So I have an issue. Women who had an affair with women, I think she means woman. Wait, was it more than one? So is it women, plural? Who had an affair with my husband contacted me. I'm 47. I'm married to my 50-year husband for 20 years. While I was fighting breast cancer, his ex-girlfriend, she's about 49, 50 or so, reached out to him and they started having an emotional affair, texting all day, computer chats at night. He swears it was never physical and he called it off. I found out and I was furious, but we have two children and we worked through it. We both talked to her and her husband. Yes, she was married with two kids as well, and they said it was over. He blocked her on everything. So fast forward a year, almost to the date they got caught. This lady reached out to me 2 nights ago on Facebook Messenger at 1 a.m. telling me that to tell my husband, quote, Jimmy died, end quote. We don't know any Jimmy. And why in the hell is she reaching out to me? I don't think I'm going to tell my husband. I did respond with sorry for your loss because it's a habit, but I'm not going to tell my husband about any of this. So what? He can reach out to her? I'm thinking that's what she's wanting. Also, she knew I had cancer. We were having a hard time in our marriage. She also came after him. I've read all the messages. What would you do? Oh, what would I do? If she still had a number for her husband, I'd call her husband and say, who the hell is Jimmy? And then say, your wife called me to tell me that Jimmy died. And I guess she wants me to tell my husband, but I want to just let you both know I don't give a fuck who died. He's not contacting that bitch ever. And that's just the way that it is. So just tell her, it's like you talking about sorry for your loss. You know what Deb would have said? Good. Motherfucker should have died last year. Not even knowing who Jimmy is. I would just want to say some rude shit just because I could. And just have her go, because that's how I like to do things. Say it's good he died. Too bad it wasn't you, bitch. And stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I do. Don't tell me somebody died and made me have a wonderful day. Don't do that. That's, yeah. Yeah, I kind of like this background too. I wanted something different. She thinks she's slick. You're right, Jerisha. But then, these heifers be coming up with these stupid ass games. I'm like, you know, see, Emmy, you just don't know. I haven't seen your name on here before. But I'm known for not really giving a fuck about when somebody dies. It's like, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Because I'm not gonna be like really caring. My cousin calls me. She likes to be that person. Families, they have people who want to call around and tell you who died and stuff. And last time she called to tell me somebody, just some miscellaneous random person. I don't even know. I don't remember who it was. Some yeah, basically a non-motherfucking factor. Let me just be blunt. And so she come calling me, telling me, oh, so and so died. I said, so what you telling me for? And she was she was all sucking in wind, like, why would you say that? I said, cousin, come on now. I haven't seen that bitch in 30 years. Don't care. Don't want to know. Ain't going to the funeral. Ain't sending flowers. Just gives no fucks at all. Why are you even telling me this? As a matter of fact, when we do this, I want it to be the last time you call to tell me somebody died. If I don't get the message myself, then I don't need to know. I didn't know when she was living. I don't need to know when she died. So, just don't just remove me from this call sheet. And that's how we did that. I just don't care. So, yeah, don't give me to telling them to go to the light, all of that good stuff. All right, let's move on. We got 25 questions. Question number 9. This is a female, 20 to 34, from Silver Spring, Maryland. Summary of issue: guest ruined my new carpet. Okay, logically, I know this is a minor problem in the grand scheme of things. I know people are writing you facing real issues, but this really annoyed me. Oh, we have real issues on the show, crazy stuff, serious stuff. It don't matter because sometimes the stuff is so serious we need something silly so we can just bring the heat down. So she says, we just had new wool carpet fitted in the whole upstairs. Saved up for a while and it was expensive. After 5 years of renovation, we finally have the upstairs finished. I was so happy. Had parents stay this weekend and they left yesterday. They've seen the house in all stages of building site and they know how excited I am to have the upstairs finally completed. I explained that we are being careful to keep it looking nice. And they know we are a slippers only house apart from the hardwood floors on the entry hall, etc. Well, I went into their room to do the bedding this morning and can see that they've rolled their dirty suitcase wheels all on the carpet. A bit annoying, but oh well. It's dried, so I can hopefully hover it up. Then I see that they've spilled coffee or some kind of tea maybe next to the bed. Oh, those stains. There's a huge splatter mark all over the carpet in front of the bedside table. It's also on the skirting board and the wall, but I can touch that up at least. I'm just feeling a bit gutted. If they had an accident, then why not say, and I could have gone on it to stop it from staining. I'm regretting not getting an easily cleanable carpet, but the fact that they didn't mention it is the worst part. Deb, would you say anything to your parents? They do mean well, but they just don't get having nice things and looking after them. Okay, so you come from some hood rat ass people that so you just happen to come up a little bit and bought yourself a nice house, built your house, whatever you did, and your ghetto ass parents came in your house and fucked it up. Now, oh, you've been in the chats, okay? Uh, My parents would know better because they would just catch so much hell. I would have them in there on their hands and knees cleaning that shit up. Bring your happy ass back here and clean my carpet. Or send me the money to get a quote, find out how much it's going to cost to get it professionally clean and get them stains out. And then tell them, send me the money because you fucked up my carpet and you're going to pay for it. You thought it was so fun? You're going to pay for this. I just got this carpet. It's brand fucking new. And you came in here and fucked it up and just left it that way. And why? And then I want to ask you though, why would you let them have beverages and shit upstairs? What I mean, with that new stuff, you eat at the table, you drink at the table, and the only thing you can have in the room is water. So I'm not really understanding why that even was allowed to happen. So you got to have some better regulations on stuff in your house. And so my parents would be banned from my house. They would be banned. When my sisters or kids came to my house, and I used to have this like it was like off-white color carpet. Don't ask me why. But my daughter didn't mess up the carpet. So her kids come in and her raggedy ass husband, who she since divorced, and he sit down with the kids and I give him a little snack or something because she was helping me do some paperwork. And I go back over there and them kids done spilled the milk on my carpet. Now keep in mind the daddy's sitting right there, right? Spilled the milk and had the cookies, and they had ground the cookies into the milk into my fucking carpet. I lost my mind. I threw everybody out. All y'all get the fuck out. And so the husband was like, I was like, why did you say something? I cleaned that shit up. Why you just let them sit there and get it soak into my carpet like that? And he just sat there looking. I told my sister, you need to divorce his ass because he's stupid. And it took her another probably 10, 12 years before she actually did it. But, I mean, I just again see what I'm saying, the character of somebody. You have to understand what behaviors mean. Y'all never forget. So I threw all the motherfuckers out. All y'all get out. And them kids have not been back to my house either. I refuse to let them. Had another friend, her kid came and she did something, threw the Kool-Aid down. It was on hardwood floors, but still I didn't even care. It's the point. They're sticky and shit. I'm like, so I have to get that up and do all that scrubbing and stuff. And it goes between the little boards and have hardwood floors. Not these new hardwood floors. These are the old kind with the slats in the old San Francisco Victorian style houses. They had a little slats in between. It wasn't sealed with this stuff like they do now, that resin. It wasn't like that. It was real wood, and they had the little slat, holes in between. And that Kool-Aid went down in them little grooves. I had to scrub that shit out. I threw them out too. I was like, don't ever bring your kid back to my house. So yeah, I don't play that. So that's what you got, girlfriend. Your parents, and I don't know them, but I would be highly suspicious that they did that on purpose. If you have people that are envious, they're gonna do something to fuck your stuff up. So you need to think real hard about letting them come back to your house. If I were you, I would go visit them, but I would not let them come back to my house. They tell them you banned, till you give you the money back for having cleaned that carpet, or you can do it and then send them a bill. Question number 10. This is a female between 8 to 34 age group out of Salem, New Hampshire. Summary of issue. I went on a date on Friday with this guy, and I apparently ruined it when I gave him the ick over ice cream. I decided to give dating apps one more try, but after Friday, I deleted them and I'm done for good now. I'm 31 and I agreed to go out for dinner with this guy who's 33. Everything was fine. He was a bit serious, not very engaging in the sense where he mostly talked about his work in accounting and his soccer hobby. Boring. Dinner was okay, but then he said, "This was nice. I don't want to end it yet." And me, like a fool, said, "Oh, there's a salt and straw down the street. Do you want some to and walk around?" He agreed but didn't want any ice cream once we got to the counter. Fine. I'm not forcing anyone to have anything. But as he's talking and walking, the ice cream in my cone started to melt a bit, and I dripped some on my shirt. I laughed it off and said, "Oops," and I got out my Tide pen and cleaned it off. He was a bit miffed about it. I felt that suddenly had to call it night. He had to suddenly call it a night because he had an early morning. Okay, that's fine. I go home, and the next morning I see a message from him saying that he doesn't see us going any further because he felt like I should be more mature for my age and that being messy is not cute. No one wants to spill food on themselves on a first date, but damn, tough crowd. I laughed it off because I didn't think it was that serious. But I guess that's an ick for men now. No, it's not an ick for men, it's an ick for him. But once you heard that he was accountant, you should have known the dude's out on that shit. I mean, there's a certain mindset that wants to look at numbers all fucking day. Okay. I have never met an accountant that was fun. I mean, nice people, don't get me wrong, nice people. Very bright, very intelligent. But that's where it ends. No. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Jerisha. I mean, I'm glad she had a sense of humor about the whole thing. She just whipped out her Tide pen and got it. See, I just would have been wiping with a tissue and smeared it into my clothes and made it worse because I don't carry a Tide pen. I'm allergic to Tide. Whatever's in Tide makes me itch. But I think that, you had a good attitude about it. Don't worry about him. He's stupid. And you, as the chat says here, you dodged a bullet. You dodged a serious bullet. Let's move on. We got 25 questions. We're about to do question number 11. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group out of Fresno. Summary of issue. I got rejected because of my job. That you on OnlyFans or something? What's going on? For context, I work at a pretty big high school with over 150 staff members, so it's not uncommon to be strangers with one another in the building, especially if you're not in the same department. I'm one of the receptionists and love my job. I get so much fulfillment out of interacting with the kids and not having to lay down the law on them or worry about parents' reactions to poor grades. Recently, a teacher liked my online dating profile. I matched with him and opened the conversation by mentioning that we actually work together. He was all on board when he thought I was a teacher. But the moment I said I'm in the main office, he decided he doesn't want to date coworkers. I totally respect preferences and boundaries, so we ended the conversation amicably, but I can't help but feel a bit of ego death. Did I really get rejected because of my job? I'm going to say this. It's not that you got rejected because you're a receptionist. I think it's because you're in the office and he's messing around with somebody that's also in the office. Either that or somebody that he knows you're going to see in the office. There will be gossip and talk in the office. So he couldn't be popping in to see you because that other person is there, even though you're in the same school. That's why he don't want to date a coworker. It's nothing to do with you. Again, you dodged a bullet. I don't. That's no. That's not the reason. I can see where in your little innocence would think that, but nope, that ain't it at all. There's something he's scared of. That's why he don't want to mess with you in the office. Mhm. Anyway, let's move on to question number 12. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group out of San Diego, California. Sorry of issue. This is my question, but I really want to know if you agree with what the OP did. Okay, so people be pulling these questions off of random websites or something. I don't know where they be doing this to get these things from. So the letter says, I'm a 32-year-old male and I recently bought my first home complete with a pool, something I worked over a decade to afford. I live alone, no kids, and I take pride in keeping the place clean and peaceful. My brother is 35, so that's what you're 32, so he's an older brother. And his wife have 3 children, 4, 6, and 9. I love them, but to be honest, their kids are a handful. The last time they visited, they broke a lamp, smeared food on the walls. What? And one of them even peed behind a curtain, quote, as a joke. Their parents barely reacted. Now, see, they would be paying for my house. Okay. So when they asked if they could bring the kids over to swim, I said no, multiple times. I offered to host a barbecue, but made it clear the pool was off limits. I'm not comfortable being responsible for kids in the water. especially with how little they supervised them. Well, they showed up anyway with the kids already in swimsuits. When I told them no again, my sister-in-law called me cold and said I was punishing the kids just because I'm bitter and single. Wow. So now we're going to insult somebody when we want something from them. My brother told me to stop being dramatic and said it's family, not strangers. They left furious. Then it got worse. The next day, I came home from work and noticed my backyard gate was ajar. I walked out to find my brother, his wife, and their kids in my pool. No call, no permission. They broke in. Wow. I confronted them and told them to get out immediately. They laughed it off and said, "Come on, it's not that deep. They just wanted to swim." So I called the police. When the officers arrived, my brother claimed I'd invited them and forgot. Luckily, I have security cameras and it showed them footage of them climbing the gate and entering without permission. No one was arrested, but they got an official trespass warning. Now my parents are furious with me for dragging the police into a family matter, end quote, and say I've embarrassed them. I feel like my boundaries were stomped on and my trust shattered, but I also feel a little guilty now that things have blown up. So then the person who submitted the letter says, though I could see you doing the same thing, my savage auntie, do you think he may be a little too harsh for calling the cops on his own brother? Nope. I would have done the same thing. And you're right, you could have seen me doing that because you know how I roll. I would, as soon as I saw him in my pool, I would have called the cops first, then went and told them to get out. So by the time they started with all this drag and drama, the cops would be there. And what you need to do too, it's not just them breaking your gate. Having a pool with no lock and cover is a lawsuit waiting to happen. My brother, I don't know how you're gonna fund it because I know you just bought this house, but you better do it. Get that kind that rolls across and locks. You put a padlock on it, and that's tough and strong enough so that people can walk on it. That's what you want to protect children and wildlife and drunk people from going in, falling into your pool and drowning. It's going to create a problem for you. If you don't spend your money on nothing else, you better do it. I'm telling you, better do that. Plus, it'll help keep it clean and everything too, and save you much money on food maintenance fees and chemicals and all that kind of stuff. You'll save money. It's money up front, but it save money in the long run and could possibly save your house, your salary, and every bit of money that you ever have if you didn't let you get sued. So you don't want that. Okay, so put things in precaution. Maybe even think about putting a fence around it. Around the pool. I don't know how big your yard is. If you can wall off just the pool, or if the other fence is adequate. Just think about it though. Think about how you could mitigate uh, risk for yourself, because a pool is very attractive to kids, teenagers, and stuff, and they're likely to go in there when you're not home. So get that lock and cover pronto. Yeah, they probably already did it. Little brats. And parents would encourage that shit. But yeah, I mean, my parents, if I had my parents, my family was talking about uh this is a family matter. No, it's not a family matter. It's my matter because ain't no family bought this house. I bought it. It's mine, and I'm the only one who gets to decide who uses my stuff, not you. You ain't paid a dime on this goddamn house. I bought it. And so I control who has access to it, not you. And I already told them no multiple times. And so, they let them do that shit again. And your son and his wife are going to be in prison, and you going to have to take care of your grandkids. That's where this is going. I don't give a fuck about him being my brother. He didn't give a fuck about me being his when he just broke in my house. So I just want you all to be on the same page here. And if that's a problem for you, then leave me off of any invitations to Christmases and birthday parties and all the other shit that y'all gonna be doing with your dumb asses. I don't want no parts of it. See, I would go there. I mean, like, scorched earth. It's like I'm done with all y'all. I'll be in my pool. Thank you very much. You can't let people bully you like this. I'm glad you stood up to them. Good job. They got embarrassed, please. Question number 13. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group from Ottawa, Canada. Summary of issue. Guys acting as if we're in a relationship after just one date. I usually get the less than attractive nice guy types, and I just go on one date and they act as if we're already in a relationship. Yeah, because they so hungry for some nookie. They use endearing phrases such as sweetie, and it makes me feel bad because I don't want to commit to them. I also don't like those meta relationship talk on the first date. I just want fun and interesting conversations. I don't want to plan a life or talk about children if I don't even know it. If I like your personality, I want to have nook with you. They also want to text a lot right away. Like, no, I just met you. Anyway, does this happen to other women as well? Is it just me? Why do guys do this? Do I dress too innocently? Maybe I need to dress edgier to get the hotter, less desperate guys. What do you think? Well, it never hurts to try to get the hotter, less desperate dudes because there's something to be said for that. They tend to have more confidence. They're not as needy because they know they got the swag, so they're not pressed like the not very attractive guys that don't get much play. They tend to be too pressed. When a woman pays attention to them, they just want to glob the fuck onto you, and that's what you're experiencing. So, should you try dealing with more attractive men who have better confidence? Absolutely. It's like a whole new world. Gonna have this problem. Usually the problem is women like them and then be trying to hunt them down and nail it down and solidify something. But if you're not really invested emotionally, which sounds like you would be, you just you're very clear about what you want, then you wouldn't be bothered if they don't text you all the time, can't find them and all this kind of stuff. You don't sound like you be tripping. And that's the best kind of women, the best attitude to have when you're going to be dealing with dudes like this. You don't want to be pressed. You don't want to, let them press you either. So try it. Try dressing edgier and see what happens. I found every time I changed my hair style, I would attract different dudes. Like one time I had, that's when I used to wear relaxers. And I used this temporary blonde, I think it was like a spray, this blonde stuff. I usually never dye my hair, but I had like one side, like a blonde streak like this, and went out to the club, attracted a whole different type of dude. It was interesting. So anyway, question number 14. Male, 28 to 34 from Pensacola, Florida. Summary issue. Was I wrong for taking back my tip after the waitress humiliated me in front of everyone? Oh my God. Oh, the savagery. I love it. All right, this happened a few nights ago, and I just can't believe that it went down the way that it did. I took my girlfriend out to dinner to this Italian restaurant we've been to several times. It's not highly sophisticated, but you get to sit down and order some wine, have a relaxed evening. Our server, let's call her, quote, Samantha, was kind of phased throughout. She lost my drink twice, served the wrong starter, and vanished for what seemed like an eternity when it arrived time to order dessert. It wasn't the end of the world. I've worked customer service myself, and I get the hectic nights go wild. However, the service ultimately was really poor. When the check came, I paid and I left a 10% cash tip. Not excessive, but not nothing either. I thought it was reasonable given the circumstances. We were standing up to leave when Samantha came over, snatched the cash, and said, "Seriously? This is it?" She had said it audibly. A few people at some nearby tables turned around and stared. I was taken aback. I didn't even know what to say at first. Then she added, servers can't pay their rent because of people like you. If you can't tip properly, don't dine out. Oh, and what did you what was your comeback? That's the point at which you were supposed to snap back, but doesn't sound like you did. Let's see it. The restaurant became totally silent, like sitcom silence. My girlfriend was wincing. I just remained calm and said, "Okay, sorry you feel that way," and started to leave. Then, no kidding, she muttered, "Whatever, cheapskates," but loudly enough that it was not only for us. So I went back over, walked over to the table, took the tip, and left without another word. That I was right. My girlfriend later informed me that I did fine with it, but one of my friends feel like I had overstepped by insisting on getting the tip back no matter what. You just leave it and move on. No, you don't. I feel like to be scolded and humiliated on account of a 10% tip that I actually did leave is way out of bounds. What do you think about how I handle things? I think you was nice. Let me tell you how this would have went down when okay. So I leave her 10% tip. I get up to go and she gonna come back and say, "Seriously, this is it? Service can't pay the rent because of people like you. If you can't tip properly, don't dine out." I would have turned right around and said, "If you can't waitress properly, then maybe you should guys go work at McDonald's because tip means to ensure promptness. You lost my drink two times. You didn't do this. You didn't do that." I would have rattled off real loud just so everybody could know why she only got that little tip. And say, as a matter of fact, now I'm not leaving your ass shit. because you about the most fucked up waitress I've ever seen in my life. You had the nerve to be complaining when somebody was giving you some money that you didn't even earn. Fuck out of here. And then I would have took my thing. But you don't get paid a livable wage, but but you signed on for that job because of the tips. That's why they do it. So what that means is you have to do a good job if you want to get big tips. When I've had waiters that were attentive and on it and anticipating your needs and stuff, you leave 20, 25, 30% tips. I am a good tipper, but I'm not gonna leave you a good tip when you don't do what the shit you're supposed to be doing. I got to chase you down to get the drinks I ordered. And then if you don't come with dessert, I'm sitting there, just sitting there, waiting for you to give me a menu so I can order dessert. No, I'm not doing it. You're not getting shit. As a matter of, oh God, I tell you this. This guy was really wild. We went to this Japanese restaurant, right? Me and this dude I was dating at the time, I don't know. Anyway, we went to the Japanese restaurant in off of Union Street in San Francisco. Just a hoity-toity part of town. And so I guess he trying to high side, so he takes me to this restaurant. So the waiter was just awful. I mean, he kept forgetting our stuff. He brought us the wrong stuff. It was almost funny. It was so bad, like a comedy show of what could go wrong at a you waiting. We waited for our food forever, and then he brought the wrong. It was just one thing after another. So the guy, I mean, to me, I mean, I wouldn't have left his ass shit. But the guy, I don't know, he left him a couple of bucks, something. It might have been 10%. I didn't really know with my money. So we get up and leave. We down walking down the street to the car. The little waiter, little Japanese waiter, he come running after us down the street demanding a tip. Now this guy was dating at the time, he's like 6'3" and like, buff. He's not the one to mess with like that. And like, the little dude, I mean, he might have knew some kung fu or something like that. You just never know about this thing. But we wasn't trying to be aggressive or nothing. So he calmly explained to him that his service was extremely poor, and that's why he only got that amount of tip. And if he wanted more tip, he needed to become a better waiter. He was very patient with him. Oh no, guess who just showed up? And so the guy was mad, but I had just never seen no mess like that. Who chases somebody outside the restaurant down the street demanding a tip that you did not earn at all? I think he should have been happy with the couple of bucks he got and just shut up. So anyway, dude, bottom line, I am fully in support of the moves that you made. That was very savage, and I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, we're on question number 15 now of 25 for our Sunday show. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Edinburgh, Scotland. Summary of issue: boyfriend, red flag. I could really use some advice. My boyfriend, who's turning 40 this week, met my best friend for the first time last week at dinner. He was pretty quiet, just me, just us, and my son. I've been looking forward to it, and I really care about them both, and I wanted it to go well. We've been together about 10 months, but he showed up being really performative and laddie. Okay. I'm going to take a guess that laddie means he was being like boisterous and basically acting immature and stupid. Frat boy kind of behavior. Laddie. Somebody can look it up and see if it's on the in Google about what, but I'm guessing, I'm inferring by the way she's using it, that's what it means. He told a long, quite loud story about how he and his mates changed their friend's name by deed poll as a joke on a lad's holiday the other week after he went home with a girl on a night out, and I just found it a bit much. Wow, that's kind of messed up. I made a light comment like, "Well, if you ever did that to me, I'd never speak to you again." And he snapped back with something like, "Well, if you ran off with another man and didn't come home, I never speak to you again either." He said it multiple times, and it felt unnecessarily pointed and mean, especially when that wasn't even the topic. It made things awkward and weird. Okay, so you've been dating him for 10 months, that don't make it 11. He brought some new trainers on his trip and then made some remarks about his, saying, does she like them? Who knows? She hasn't even seen them. She doesn't care. It felt kind of sarcastic and a bit unnecessary. And you didn't fire back and say, I don't give a fuck about your shoes. They only on your feet. You didn't give me none. So why should I care about your new trainers? What are you, 5? But see, y'all don't say nothing when they disrespect you. This is really sad. He's usually thoughtful, kind, and funny, but this felt very laddie and almost obnoxious, talking over people, joking about things that felt inappropriate for the setting. We were at a quiet meal, and I just wasn't expecting it. When he got back from the toilet sniffing and suddenly got even louder and more hyper, I did wonder if he'd had a bump of C. I asked him about it later, and he said no, and that he found it hurtful I even asked. I know he has C every now and then when out with mates, but this wasn't that kind of setting. It left me feeling like he was trying too hard to be funny in front of my friend, and it felt out of place. I don't know if I'm overreacting. Nope, you're underreacting. Usually he's great. He works in social work and talks so lovingly about the kids he works with. I really like him, and I can see how thoughtful and kind he is, and actually funny with good humor, not laddie bants. But this behavior just threw me off, and I don't know if I should mention it to him or just chalk it up to nerves. I know people handle nerves differently, and maybe he was trying to impress, but it left me feeling disappointed, and he didn't make a good impression on my friend, and I felt really ashamed and not at all proud of him. Would you say this is a red flag or just nerves and let it go? No, this is a major red flag. You know, you should feel blessed that he was able to hide his food for 10 months. 10 whole months. You saw his representative. This the first time he gonna meet somebody important to you. This is you get to see him show the inside of his ass. And I want you to focus on this and how it made you feel. Check in with your friend and see how it made her feel. Check in with your kid and see how it made him feel, him or whatever. You never said if it was a boy or a girl. Made your child feel. And then make a strong assessment. Is this the type of behavior that you want your child to be seeing all the time? Because now that this is who he is. People who don't have that kind of behavior pattern would never act like that. The fact that he's okay with it, and especially doing it in front of your kid and your friend, when people are normally on like their very best behavior, tells me a lot. Now, I don't know, you're pitching around trying to find excuses for it. I don't know if I'm overreacting. You know your ass is not overreacting. Stop it. And talk about how he's usually great and all this old stuff and chalking it up to nursing. You're looking for excuses so that you continue in this relationship with somebody who's already shown you that he's an idiot, disrespectful, and a drug head and a fool. He is nobody to be working around kids with that kind of mentality and behavior and sniffing up seed. You should not be working with children. He gonna fuck around and gonna do a drug test, and then he gonna be out of a job. That's what's gonna happen to him. I really want you to check in with your friend and check in with your kid. Okay, you need to hear from somebody other than me, because I can tell by the way you excuse making that you're not ready to let this go, and you're not gonna be ready until something really bad happens. Woo! Question 16. This is a female, 35 to 41, from Southampton in the UK. Summary issue: my wonderful partner doesn't want to marry or have children. I've had this conversation ad nauseum with my mother, sister, cousins, and friends. In fact, I've had this conversation with everyone except people that I work with. They all broadly say the same things and say I should count my blessings and enjoy my life. I've always wanted the massive wedding with the man of my dreams, a lovely house and children. Classic. I did all this by 30. But 3 years later, I was divorced and living in a studio flat, which I admittedly own, with my daughter. My husband had borrowed money off everyone we know, remortgaged our house, defaulted on everything, and left. No hint at all. 4 years ago, I met this man through work, although we don't work at the same place. He had a really sound reputation. We had a few drinks and meals together, and I would say occasionally if my daughter was with my mom, all good. He wouldn't come with me, though, to a family wedding, as he was still living with his wife, from whom he had separated, and didn't ever want his child to imagine we were in a relationship before he had left the house. 6 months later, they sold the house, and he had given her more in order to secure his daughter's future. After staying with his brother for about a year after we met, he introduced us to his daughter, and they excitedly started to look for houses. He categorically refused to buy a house with me. He did not want complications in his life following his failed marriage, which was not abusive or anything like mine. They just grew apart. So at 39, I have this lovely relationship with a kind, generous man. My daughter and I stay with him half the week. He sometimes stays with us. When his daughter's at his house, they plan nice things for us sometimes, but it's as if I'm the guest at his 11-year-old girl. We have family holidays and he pays for everything. I'm in a much better financial position because of him. He has a lovely family who treats me and my daughter well, but she is not treated as a grandchild. We have amazing friends and a nice lifestyle. Lots of friends envy our setup. I want more children, but I'm 40 next year and another marriage. He doesn't. He has always been honest and open about this. Everyone says count your blessings. One older cousin says have another child via donation. I love him and I love our life. Is this worth breaking up over? Let's see, you 39 gonna be 40. He has a daughter, you have a daughter. He's a kind and generous man. He shares his life with you. He just don't want to buy a house with you, which is smart since you're not married. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't even have expected that. He has a lovely family who treats you well, but she's not treated as a grandchild. She shouldn't be treated as a grandchild because she ain't one. They treat her with respect and courtesy and kindness because she's a child that they're of the girlfriend of their son. But that's, I mean, you have no right to even expect any more than that, really. You have friends and a nice lifestyle, and you think you're gonna have another baby at 40. I'm gonna tell you this: I mean, your friends gave you good advice. You already had your dream, right? You wanted a big fancy wedding and a husband and a kid. You got all that already. So what you trying to get it again for? In life, we get our dreams. Usually they come once. If it comes twice, it's kind of a blessing, but a shock and a surprise. But you're not entitled to that. Your dreams came true, and you already had that. Be happy with that and sit your ass down somewhere. Sit your ass down and just enjoy what you got into your old age. You don't have to be married. It's not like, I mean, people have marriages that suck. It sounds like your relationship is better than most marriages anyway. So just leave it alone. I'm not really understanding what you about to throw all of this away, all these great things you have going because you just insist on some fantasy that you had when you were a teenager. And you already had that dream come true. Okay? Stop it. Question number 17. This is a male in the 20 to 34 age group from Derby, England. Summary of issue. Not sure what to do about this problematic friend relationship. I just moved back to my hometown after about 10 years. An old friend I used to hang out with reached out and wanted to reconnect, so we've been hanging out every couple of weeks. We do fun things together and share a lot of the same interests. The problem is their life has totally fallen apart and it tends to dominate the conversation and it's becoming increasingly emotionally exhausting. They used to live in another city. Oh God, we about to hit that they, them shit. But their housing situation became too stressful, so they relocated to their parents' attic. Their parents are very high maintenance, who totally resent them being there and pick on them all the time. The attic is also not very well insulated, so it gets hot or cold depending on the season. Apparently, there's another bedroom available, but we'll be in very close proximity to the parents, so they prefer to suffer upstairs. They're also autistic and say they can only work remote jobs now. They also reluctantly had to sell their car. But they also don't want to settle for anything paying less than $20 an hour, which of course may be hard to find. So they don't have any job right now and haven't for at least a year. They've been working with the state employed job counselor, but have turned down at least one opportunity to work remote for $15 an hour that I know of. They're also about to go through a major gender affirming surgery, which I know is going to be very difficult for them. And they just can't stop explaining how horrible it's going to be to have to rely on their parents for help. You don't have no job and no money and no place to live. You don't need to be having no gender affirming surgery. Your priorities are fucked up. So I'm trying to be there, but the cherry on top is that they never ask me how I'm doing or make any room in the conversation for me to share what's going on in my life. I feel more like a therapist than a friend. Plus, it's so tone deaf for them to constantly complain about their life and every bad thing their parents ever did since childhood, when everyone else I know is working so much to get by, myself included. I know for a fact that they have been through therapy, but it definitely doesn't feel like they've worked through their issues. And new traumatic events are happening all the time with their parents. I don't know how to talk to them about this. I know they can't afford therapy. They're covered with self harm scars. They have absolutely no one else around anymore. And after hanging out with them more recently, I understand why. I understand why, and I'm way over here. I've been trying to space out our hangouts because it's exhausting to hear about all their baggage every time when they haven't really done anything to change the situation. Do I need to end this friendship? I think I might be the only person showing them any kindness, but I don't know if I can do it anymore. Well, first of all, you need to grow some nuts. I mean, what is this with you being a man and you can't speak up? This person, okay, let me go back to what you said. I'll give you some Deb responses. Okay, the attic is not well insulated. Okay, so I mean they want to be hot and cold. I mean, why is that even being mentioned? They're making that choice. They only work remote. They don't want to make 20. Okay, state employed job counselor, but have turned down at least one opportunity to work for $15 an hour. So how are they eating? Parents feeding them, supporting them? I mean, you're not giving them no money, right? Don't you do that? They're going through gender affirming surgery. I can't stop explaining how horrible it's going to be. Then you need to ask that person, like, okay, so it's going to be horrible. You don't have no job. You don't have no money. You don't have your home of your own. You're in an attic and you about to get this surgery. Well, how is that going to work? How are you going to be climbing up and down the attic and taking care of yourself when you don't have no job, no money, and no place of your own, no car, no job? Well, I mean, what are you doing? What kind of thinking is this? This is like some ass backwards thinking that you're doing. This your priorities are all kinds of fucked up. That's the kind of conversation you need to be having with this friend of yours instead of just going along with this nonsense. It's like that ain't some shit you need to be thinking about. You need to be thinking about how you gonna be living. And every time they complain, it's like, well, you still there, so you must like it. Stop complaining about it. I don't want to hear it anymore. Say the same damn thing like a broken record. I'm sick of hearing about it. What you gonna do about it though? See, that's how I am with my friends. This was one girl, oh my God, she used to talk about this boyfriend she had, and it would bring me anxiety. And so I finally just had to tell her, I listened a couple times and I said, you've been complaining about this dude, and I've given you suggestions for what to do, and you don't do anything. So from today forward, we're not going to talk about him. I just put the barrier up. I don't want to talk about him anymore. So, whatever y'all doing, y'all going to do it by yourself. I don't want no parts of it. I want to hear about it. And she was just all like put out because I didn't want to hear her stupid stories. And so then pretty soon the relationship fizzled out because she didn't have anything else to talk about but that. Her whole life was wrapped up in him and his drama. Well, it don't sound like therapy is really doing any good because, see, sometimes when people are in therapy, the therapists do this thing. Well, what do you think? They're basically just getting a check. Cause so, they let you they try to allegedly guide you to figure it out. But if people could figure it out, they wouldn't need a therapist. So the therapist, to me, therapy should be different. Like instead of that kind of stuff, they should ask you, like, okay, well, you made this decision. What the hell did you do that shit for? How's that gonna work? Walk me through these steps where how you came to the conclusion that that was a sensible decision. They don't talk to them like that. It's like, well, what do you think? Well, perhaps this and that, blah blah blah. Instead of saying, well, that was some dumb shit. What you do that dumb shit for? And do you see you keep doing the dumb shit over and over, same dumb shit, and you keep expecting something to happen different? Or you ain't really doing nothing. Yeah. That's why I say Kiki, it was 2 times, but the 3rd time I was like, "Look, I can't do this no more." I don't I mean, it's hard for me because this is what I do, you know? But like I said, I was giving her suggestions like I would if she was on the show, and then she just wasn't doing nothing. Want to keep bending my ears with that stuff, that raggedy, trifling, two-bit piece of shit nigga that she was messing with. Oh, no clown. That's the girl who I tried to get when I took her out for congratulations for her promotion. Had the nerve to be trying to get a to-go meal, thinking I was gonna pay for it. I said I was taking you out and that I'm paying for this and this. That second drink you ordered, you paying for that, and you paying for that appetizer you ordered because I didn't say I was gonna pay for that. And you that to-go package, you paying for that. So when the waiter came, I said, this I'm paying for, so put it on here, and all the rest of it that's on her. I made her pull out her card and pay for that shit. I don't know what she thought. And then, in the car on the way back, because she didn't even have a car. I'm driving. And she's like, well, I thought you was going to pay for it. I said, I'm not fucking you. You are not my woman. There's no way in this world I'm gonna be paying for you for some food to take home to some man. You tripping. She just couldn't believe I was talking to her like that. I'm thinking, you obviously don't know me as well as you thought, because you thought that was gonna fly. I'm just real funny about my money and certain things I'm just not gonna do. Especially when it comes to some man. He should have found out we going out to dinner. He should have gave her the money for both of us. If he was any kind of man. Question number 18 of 25 questions. This is a male, 28 to 34, out of Santa Cruz. Summary of issue. I canceled my nephew's birthday party because my sister wouldn't respect my house rules, and now all hell has broken loose. Uh-oh. So this happened last weekend, and I'm still getting heat from my family over it. I'm the oldest at 32 and agreed to host my nephew's seventh birthday party at my house because my younger sister, 29, let's call her Jessica for the story, lives in a small apartment and couldn't accommodate all the kids and family. I have a big backyard and a pool, and I was happy to help out. Now, here's the thing. I have a few rules in my house, especially since I work from home, and I have expensive tech equipment, books, and some irreplaceable collectibles in a dedicated office slash library space upstairs. One clear rule, no children upstairs. I reminded Jessica of this multiple times. She laughed it off at first, but I made it clear no kids. If kids go upstairs, the party's over. She said she understood. Fast forward to the day of the party. About 15 kids are running around and everything's going fine. I step inside to get more drinks and notice two of the kids, not even my nephew, sprinting down from upstairs, giggling and holding one of my vintage Transformers figures, one that my late dad gave me when I was a kid. The box is torn, the toy is missing a leg, and I pretty much freeze. Oh my God. Those are worth a lot of money. I call out Jessica and tell her what happened. She says, "Oh, come on, they're just being kids. You can't expect them to stay downstairs for hours." I reminded her that she promised me and that this was the one rule. She rolled her eyes and said, "Don't be such a control freak. It's just a toy." That was it. I told everyone the party was over and told them to leave. There were a lot of groans and my nephew started crying, which made me feel awful, but I stood my ground. Now the rest of my family has blown up my phone saying I ruined the kid's birthday party over a plastic figure and that I embarrassed Jessica in front of everyone. Even my mom said I should have just let it go for the sake of the kids. But to me, it's not about the toy, it's about trust and respect. I hosted the party for free, gave them a great space, and all I asked for was one bound to be respected. Why are they all mad at me? Because they stupid? Is this a trick question? You the entitlement of these people is just shocking. So, what I would do now is like Jessica's banned. I'm telling you, I'd be banning folks from my house. Jessica would be banned for the rest of her life. She can't come to my house because I can't trust her. And when you got your property damaged and they laugh and roll their eyes and say it's just a toy and be so dismissive, see, I would be suspicious that she sent them up there. That's how my mind would work. I'd be looking at her reaction, not of shock, not apologetic, but like no big deal. I would bet she sent him up there. Told him to go upstairs. He's got some toys in there that you might like, those Transformers. Go get, play with those. Because her attitude is the attitude that she's projecting is one that she's a part of the plot. It's not one of, oh my God, I told him not to do it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It wasn't any of that. Notice she didn't respond that way. She rolled her eyes. You just going to be such a control freak. It's just a toy. See what I mean? So I'd be instantly suspicious that she was in on it. And then for your parents and the other family members to want to say anything about you, say, you know what? The next parties that they have, you host them at your house because they're not coming back here. And then click, and I would block them. You can't call me no more. You're not gonna be wasting my time on the phone complaining about some shit that I already said this is how it is. And so stay strong, stay with your boundaries. Don't change, don't give in. Okay? And make sure that every time they start complaining about what you should do with your money and your stuff, that you tell them, oh no, you let them come to your house and break up your shit. Don't be trying to tell me nothing about what goes on under the roof when I pay for all the shit up in this bitch. You don't pay for shit here. So shut up. You don't have a voice. You can't make no comments, and your opinion is not. I'm not interested in your opinion. Don't give a fuck about your opinion. Don't give a fuck about you either. But you might not want to add that if it's your parents. But to like them aunties and uncles and cousins and stuff, I would throw that line in there too. Question number 19. This is a female in the 18 to 21 age group from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I have an issue. Am I an awful child for not sharing my food with my mother? I am 18 and I have a history of a hard time setting boundaries and often give in to others, even when it leaves me with less. Yesterday, I had my first therapy session, and my mom agreed that I tend to let others have whatever they want. My therapist told me that I need to learn to say no sometimes. So today, my mom was ordering food from a place I hadn't eaten at before. There weren't many options that I liked, but they had a plate with mozzarella sticks and chicken tenders. Since I really wanted the mozzarella sticks and likely wouldn't eat the tenders, I ordered that. There was no option to order only mozzarella sticks. Yeah, but you could have asked. You're young, so you don't know that. You could have just said, I just want the mozzarella sticks. Can the kitchen prepare that for me? And they would have said yes. When my mom told me that I should share, I said I didn't want to because the portion was small and I specifically ordered it just for the mozzarella sticks. She then called me selfish and ungrateful. Wow. I don't think I was being selfish. I share all the time. But this was something I really wanted. I was genuinely grateful that she was buying food for me, but I don't understand why she says I always let others take what they want, yet turns around and calls me selfish when I finally set a boundary. If it were someone else, she'd say it was mine and I didn't have to share. So why did she act like that? Well, you need to ask her that because that is, a rather interesting flip there. I mean, that's why she's taking you to get therapy so you can learn to stand up for yourself. And the second that you do, then she want to act all stupid about it. That's what I would do. I would ask her. But yeah, remember that though, when you go in a restaurant, you can say, uh, you just want this part and just give me double mozzarella sticks and no chicken tenders. And they would do it. They would have done it. Question number 20 of 25. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Everett, Washington. Summary of issue. I mispronounced something 6 months ago, and my brother-in-law brings it up every time I see him. About 6 months ago, I 31, mispronounced a name that I'd only seen in print and never heard out loud. My 40-year-old brother-in-law, my sister's husband of 10 years, noticed and stopped the conversation with everyone to point it out. Okay, I did say it wrong, so I just laughed a bit and we moved on. Except I guess we haven't moved on because he brings it up every single time I see him. I feel like he's trying to get a rise out of me because if I laugh along or ignore it, he calls me passive aggressive. Once I rolled my eyes after he said it, he asked why I was so upset and sensitive. Wow. And it was then I used this was then used as an example to my sister of proof that I hate him. I don't hate him, and I am just annoyed at this point, and it isn't funny anymore. It feels like more like schoolyard bullying. Yeah, I was just thinking that than a joke between adults. I'm not the only person in the family he does this to, but it is a way worse for me than anyone else, and I'm not the only person who has noticed. I have tried to ignore it, but he won't let me ignore it. I always get some snide remark if I don't acknowledge for the 15th time that I mispronounced something. I know I'm going to see him soon, and I would appreciate any advice on how to respond or more effectively not respond. Well, y'all have any thoughts for her, please put them in the chat. I've heard from others that I should talk to my sister. I have before, not just about this situation, and nothing has ever changed. She agrees how he acts towards me is weird, but says it's his sense of humor. I don't know what to do. Well, this is when you fire back. Okay, so you mispronounced it, and so he keeps bringing it up. If you laugh along or ignore it, he calls you passive aggressive. So he just got all these labels for you, and you're not ever saying anything back. Like he's called you passive aggressive. It's like no, I'm gonna get just straight aggressive if you keep up this bullshit, low self esteem having fucker. That's why you want to say things to try to put other people down so you can look like you're the smartest one in the room, that you know every goddamn thing, and that you're the smartest, the best, and the fastest, and everything else. That's why you do this. Low self-esteem having fucker. And then if he says, that's why you get upset, and that's why proof that I hate him. Say, no, I don't hate you yet, but I'm definitely headed in that direction because I can't believe that my sister would marry somebody so stupid as you. Low self-esteem having fucker. That because I would that's the reason why he's doing this, in case you don't get it. This guy has very low self-esteem and no confidence. So he, by teasing and taunting all these other people, doing these little subtle put downs, he gets to make himself feel like he's better than other people. So what you have to do, you and these other people need to get together and figure out some things that show him that he's not better than other people, and then just burn him to death with it. Just burn him. Every time he brings up something, you say, "Oh, well, what about you?" And then you lob some grenades back. That's the only way people like this learn because they have to be like clowned. They have to be publicly humiliated. They have to be embarrassed, basically. So, you being quiet is not gonna ever shut him up. you have to fire back at him. And like I said, the main reason is he's doing this is because he feels like this is the way to make himself seem like he's Mr. Know-it-all. Should you now? My only thing I'm trying to think of is if I would tell my sister in advance what I'm going to be doing. Probably not, because she would tell him. What you want is the element of surprise. So you want to wait until there's a big family party or some other gathering and he does that again. And that's when you're going to turn your head and you're going to look at him and say, I was waiting for you to do that so I could do what I'm ready to do right now, which is read your ass. And then you can, and if there's anything on him physical that you want to talk about, please do. Any problems that you know that he's had in the past, talk about that too. Any failures that he's had, bring those all up, all of them. Anything that he feels like if his hairline is receding, Peebo Bryson forehead, motherfucker. Your hairline is about to catch up with your neck. Sitting up there with that big dome shining in the sun. You got the nerve to be trying to talk about somebody mispronouncing a word. Boy, you better shut up. Whatever it is. I don't know what the man looked like. You didn't say how old he is or anything. But, there has to be something about him that you can brag on him about. Him needing a toupee or something. He needs some gym time. He needs something. So you figure that out, and you just light his ass up. Don't ever let people talk about you like this. Question number 21. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Montreal, Canada. The male's 28 to 34. Summary of issue. My younger sister is mad because I ignored her request to borrow money. My half-year sister, she's 40, 4 years younger than me, and we have different dads. Messaged yesterday asking to borrow some money. I didn't reply because she really isn't part of my life. I have on occasion taken her and her dad, who is my stepdad, out for dinner. She replied a couple of hours later saying that she would figure it out. We met my senior year of high school, and then for 9 months I shared a room with her in my mom's house. It was the worst experience of my life. We talk a couple of times a year, and it's a pretty good conversation. But still, she does things like not inviting me when she and my stepdad, her father, released balloons to mark the year anniversary of our mother passing. For years, the entire family had Thanksgiving dinner, but left my husband and I sitting at home alone. I even invited them to my house for dinner and was told that they really like staying home alone on Thanksgiving. I found out years later when my sister said something in passing. I hear from her every so often when she wants to borrow money. The last time was so a nephew I barely know could take his GED. She told me later that it was up to him to pay me back. I don't care about the money and don't lend expecting to get it back, but it just feels icky. Coming to my house for a cookout resulted in a request for gas money as she was leaving since she used gas to get to my house. I fed your ass, so that's the money. There you go. The money that you would have used to cook and buy food, put it in your gas tank. Bye bye. Thanks for coming. I just feel used. I didn't want to write a rude reply, but I wanted to know how I feel about a family member who doesn't treat me like family and doesn't really have much to do with me asking for money. At the same time, I don't really have any other family, so I don't want to completely lose her. Would you just not reply to her message? If you would reply, Deb, what would you say? You don't have any family. I'm just like, what you talking about? Why would you even think that you have a she's not your family. I guess you guys are technically related by blood, but see, family is people that got your back and care about you. She doesn't. She doesn't give a fuck about you. And evidently neither does his stepfather because you don't have too much contact with him either. So I'm trying to figure out why you don't want to be rude. Don't you think it's rude for somebody to only reach out to you when they want something from you, some money? Don't you think that's could be a problem? I and you want to tell her that you want to express all these feelings. She won't give a fuck about your feelings about her asking for money. So just keep doing what you're doing and ignore her. You really could put her on block to tell you the truth. Why don't you just block her? Then you don't have that problem. And realize that that's not your family. You being all romantic and romanticizing this shit is not that kind of party. She's not your family and neither her kids. Question number 22. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Lufton in the UK. Summary of issue. I found out that my boyfriend was cheating after 8 months together. He is now the fifth man to have cheated on me. Wow. Where am I choosing badly? Although 4 out of 5 of these relationships I was with each for under a year, so still classed as early on, I suppose. And the other one I never knew about the cheating until long after I split. I took time on my own last year and felt I could recognize patterns between the previous 4 men and traits I knew I wouldn't go for that again. I finally got back to dating at the end of last year and thought I'd met someone different. I felt calm with him and things I'd not felt previously. Nervous system felt good, which was something I'd not felt previous. He wasn't on social media or taken in by that side, which previous men had been a little self obsessed. He wasn't at all like that, which was refreshing. He seemed more normal and was caring and affectionate. So now to find out there was a girl he's not cut ties with and they have slept together a few times whilst we were together, I feel so disheartened and lost. Like I really have lost hope in relationships and trusting others. All I've wanted is to settle down and build with someone. I'm sick of starting over and questioning if I can trust someone. I know this is going to leave me so confused in future dating, so I'm scared, to be honest. Not as sure what advice I'm after, but clearly doing something wrong with my choice in a partner. It's just frustrating when I felt I'd learned that and not fallen into the same trap as before. Okay, so then she goes on and on. This guy's making excuses about the other, about getting with the ex. He's claiming it wasn't consensual with this girl, but yet he's engaged in her flirtatious texts every now and then and met up with her and clearly been excited about it enough to have nook nook with her, saying he has an attachment problem and owes her money, so he can't cut off out of fear that she'll turn up and make a scene. Okay, he's full of excuses. He's very creative with his lies. Sorry, this is all over the place. I've literally found out this evening. I haven't got anyone I feel okay to talk to about it yet. I'm going to say this, and I know I have a rather unusual mindset about this, but I think that women, you got to understand a boyfriend ain't shit. Okay. A boyfriend means nothing. You guys want to have expectations of a husband, the kind of commitment that you have once you take marital vows. You want to have those of these fly by night, 2 bit pieces of shit boyfriends. And you know, it's not really an appropriate expectation. They're not your husband. And so, you see, I feel like until you are actually married and then saying those, um, okay, I'm doing something right quick. Hold on a second. Hold your ponies. Hold your ponies. Okay. All right. That's done. Sorry, I had to take care of something. All right. So, um, like I said, I know that my mindset is a little different because most women feel like, well, I'm his girlfriend. Like, but I keep telling you that doesn't mean anything. Girlfriend and boyfriend merely means that this is the person that you have decided that you're going to have regular nook nook with. And so you try to make it seem like it's meaningful. And I mean, it might mean something if you have an engagement ring on your finger. That means you at least, move it in that direction of marriage. But if you just say, this is my boyfriend, this is my fiance, and you don't have any plans for marriage, there's nothing that's gonna rise and no ring on your finger, no wedding date set, and then they dip out with some other man or woman. It's just what it is because they single, and that's what single people do. And you just have to get over it. So, like I said, I know my thought on this whole thing is not really uh, what most people think, but I think reality proves me right. All right, question number 23. This is a male in the 28 to 34 age group from Columbus, Ohio. We have 25 questions, so we got three more. After, this is the 23rd, 23, 24, 25. Okay. My wife's best friend is getting a little too close for comfort with me, and I don't know how to tell my wife. My wife's best friend, and I mean best friend, is starting to get a little too comfortable with me, and I don't know what to do. She comes over a lot and always sits close to me, texts me late at night at like 2 a.m. for random small things when I'm at work, and now wants to start hanging out without my wife, like when I go golfing or fishing. And it's starting to make me question her intentions. Am I overreacting or overthinking, or do I have this right? I want to tell my wife how I feel, but don't want to start anything either. Do you think her intentions are negative or genuine? It should also be said that we are very good friends too. We are quite similar, and I feel like that's what why my wife gets along with her so much. Help. This is totally on you, little pussy boy. What the fuck you talking about? You don't know what to do. You're enjoying attention. You think I'm stupid? I know this trick. You better get your shit together because you're gonna have a problem. See, when she puts a spin on this and you end up divorced because you didn't speak up, you have to do the preemptive strike when you're dealing with bitches like this because they will fuck you up. If she decides she wants you, she gonna do something to destroy your marriage, and your dumb ass is sitting up there going along with it because you're too chicken to tell your wife or friend is up to no good. So what you do is you start with this, and I want you to put your phone in your pocket. I want you to record it. Don't you do this by text. You do this by phone. Or you do this when she's there at the house or whatever, however you're going to do it. You're going to tell her, look, I've noticed that, you've been you want to sit close to me and you're trying to hang out with me without my wife. I want you to understand this is not going to happen. Whatever you think is going to happen is inappropriate and I'm not going to go for it. I want you to remember that you're her friend, not mine. I mean, I'm friendly, but you're not my buddy. You're not gonna be going fishing with me. We're not going golfing with You're not going golfing with me. You're gonna do stuff with my wife. So you want to go golfing and fishing, you go with her. That's what you need to do. So stop calling me. Don't be texting me. Leave me alone. I'm a married man and I want to stay that way. One thing I don't want is no drama from you. If you keep this up, I'm gonna involve my wife in this and let her know what your shenanigans you're trying to pull. I'm not gonna never cheat on her. And even if I was, it wouldn't be with your ass. That's what you need to tell her. And you need to have a recording of it. Okay? And then whatever she says, you're gonna record that too. And then you're gonna get up and act like you gotta go to the bathroom. And that's when you're gonna stop the recording. Okay, she'll never know that you got that message. And save it in the cloud in case something happens with your phone. You want to be able to pull that sucker out and send it wherever you need to. That's how you protect yourself, your marriage, and your wife. Okay? Because these kind of things, these kind of bitches, they see that somebody got a happy setup. The first thing they want to do is fuck it up and try to get you from themselves. That's why I used to always tell women, don't be telling your quote friends what your man did for you. Shut up. Everything that you tell them, oh, he's all right. I guess he's okay. I had to tell him what to get me, and then he didn't even get it. He gave me something else. Just lie. The bras don't need to be knowing what your man does for you. And do the same thing with your woman. You need to keep your mouth shut. People are very jealous and envious and hateful, and they will want to do anything they can to fuck up what you got. They'll start telling you, insinuating things, putting dropping little lugs about your person, telling you they saw 'em with somebody when they didn't, because you asked for proof and they don't have none. But see, they put that seed of doubt. They plant that seed of doubt in your mind. You got to be very careful about telling other people about your relationship. I mean, you could tell me not gonna be tripping like that. But I mean, just watch. You got to be careful with that. And sometimes people, they'll be cool. Like if they got apartment stuff, they'll be cool while they got somebody. As soon as they don't have somebody, and they start looking at how happy you are, and what you got, what you driving, and where you living, and what you wearing, and how your man be grinning at you and all that stuff. See, then they start getting greedy. They want you. They. It's not like they don't want you to have it, but they want to have it for themselves too. So they might, be trying to entice him to come cheat with him and all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, keep your mouth closed. Women be just talking too damn much. I want to tell somebody about their relationships or their personal business. I had one friend who knew about my just one friend. To everybody else, my husband was an asshole. Well, it depends on what they're doing, Kiki. I mean, if they, have I mean, I would think, just on average, once a month should be plenty. Unless they have, kids that are friends and play together kind of thing. They might see each other more often then. Because, it'll be like activities, that's family activities, kids there. It's mainly about the kids and the parents just happen to, be the tag-alongs. But as far as couples going out together, I think once a month unless there's plenty of that shit. I don't need to see you that much. I don't even want to see my female friends that much. All right, question number 24. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Summary of issue. My boyfriend wants me to save money for a wedding. Dad, my boyfriend is asking me to save money for a wedding. Key word is boyfriend. We have been living together for a year now and have been together for about 5. We own our home together and we have been clear that we are in this for the long haul together. So naturally, we have been discussing marriage, children, etc. I have been clear that I want to be married before we can have kids. I'm being as patient as I can with waiting on a proposal, and it's hard to be patient. In our most recent discussion, he has expressed concerns about wedding costs, rightfully so. But I have shown him that we can get married cheaply, but he still wants me to save money. The conversation ended with him saying that he does not want to propose until I save money for a wedding. But he did not mention what his plans are as far as if or how he's going to be saving as well. People save money for a wedding before they're even engaged. It feels kind of silly to save specifically for that, especially when I don't have the reassurance that the wedding is going to happen, as there has not been a proposal and I have no timeline of when that might happen. Just so you know, I do have an existing small savings which serves as an emergency fund. So it's not like I have no money. And he has no reason to believe that I am unable to save money. I just don't get it. Well, you what he's trying to do is get you to set up a joint account so you can save money and then he can take the money. Mhm. How many times has this happened? Don't fall for this shit. If you save any money, you put your money into your savings account where only you have access to it. Don't you put any joint accounts with him. I'm surprised you was dumb enough to buy a house with him. I don't know what these girls be thinking about buying houses with these boyfriends. Stupid asses. Just dumb. Don't do that shit unless you form a LLC and you buy the property in the name of the corporation. Then you could do it because it's a business. You can deduct all the expenses, including attorney, everything, as a business expense. But you just falling in, going in there and giving all your money over to some fool and investing all that hundreds of thousands of dollars with some clown just because you dating him and screwing him. That's all it takes to get you in debt for $100,000, $200,000 a dick. That's it. You tripping. That's what I said. It makes me just wonder what the fuck is wrong with women. Y'all just, just do not be thinking about protecting yourselves at all. It just makes me just scream. So what you're gonna do is, if you want to save more money, do that. Don't tell him. Keep your mouth shut. Put your money in your savings account. And then if he says, "Are you saving for the wedding?" Say, "Well, no. What wedding? We don't have no wedding set. I don't. I see no ring on my finger. So I don't have no reason to say for a wedding that with some fantasy wedding." And then start thinking about that because, most likely what's going to happen here is y'all going to break up. So you're going to, you know, figure out how to sell that house and get your money back out of it. That's what's in your horizon. And the last question of today, this is question number 25. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Aurora, Illinois. Before I do that, let me put this banner across here so you guys can um, if you want to submit a letter for an upcoming column, this is how you do it. You just log on to Debsterism.com and click the tab that says Get Advice, and then you just fill out the form and press Send. That's all you have to do. Okay, it's Debsterism.com right there on the screen. The same name as my YouTube channel, Debsterism. Actually, I use that all across the internet. All right. If you see Debsterism somewhere, it's most likely me. Although a couple of people had, yeah, not always me. People be trying to be tripping, trying to steal your shit. All right, let's move on. Question number 25. This is a female in the 22 to 27 from Aurora, Illinois. Summary of issue. Am I wrong for telling my cousin that she can't wear white to my wedding even though she's grieving? I'm 27 and get married in early September. My cousin, who is 24, recently lost her fiance in an auto accident, and she's been understandably devastated. We're close, and I've tried to be supportive throughout her grief. She told me that she wants to wear a white dress to my wedding because it's a tribute to her fiance, while being the color white being the color she would have worn to her own wedding. I expressed my sympathy, but gently said I'm not comfortable with her wearing white to my wedding, as that's traditionally reserved for the bride. She got really upset and accused me of being insensitive and selfish. She said I should be able to handle one small thing since she's been through so much and that I was prioritizing tradition over her pain. Now, some of my family's pressuring me to let go to avoid the drama, but I feel like my wedding day shouldn't be overshadowed, even unintentionally. Should I give in or stand my ground? No, you stand your ground and you tell anybody that doesn't like it that you're going to rescind their invitation. Say, you're going to show me the respect that I deserve. I'm going to be the only one in white. And then what I want you to do, I want you to do this, okay? You have to have some rogue ass friends. Like if it was me, all my friends would volunteer for this job. They're going to carry some dye in their purse or pocket. And if she comes or anybody else comes up in there with a white dress on, your bridesmaid dye assassins are going to hit their clothes with that dye. So they might have a white dress on, but it's going to be whatever color they get splashed on from the front down. That's what they're going to leave with that. And it's going to be like, oh, it was an accident. So it has to be some reason why you need that dye at the wedding. I can't think of one, but you think of one. And you're gonna have to. That's how it's going to end up. Their dress is gonna be fucked up. Or you could pour chocolate on it. What stains? Coffee, tea, wine, whatever you gonna do. And it's gonna be before the ceremony. Like soon as they try to come in there with the white dress on, the bridesmaids are gonna fuck it up. That's how you're gonna do that. So you don't need to argue with these people. You just do what I said. See, because sometimes people don't want to listen, so you got to show them. They don't want to hear what you say in words, and they want to tell you what they gonna do on your day. Fuck their shit up. And then if they be like upset about it, say, "Well, look, it was an accident. Should have worn white, and then it wouldn't have happened." And they'll know what that means, but it won't be shit they can do about it. See, that's how I do things. They gotta come up with a plan because they not trying to hear what you're talking about. So you just plan to fuck their shit up. Turmeric, oh, turmeric works too. That works good too. But take these suggestions because that's right. It does stain, and what you call it, curry powder too. It just gets all on your skin, and it's hell to wash that stuff off. That's what you do, girlfriend. So don't fight with them anymore. Just say, okay, anybody who wears white to my wedding, is very disrespectful. So anything that happens after that, you can't say anything. And they're going to not know what that means. Well, that sounds like a threat. Nope, it's a promise. It's a promise. And let the groomsmen be in on it too, because they're gonna need to run interference. Because they're gonna be mad. And so they be trying to like do something to the bride. So you're gonna need them groomsmen to be in on it too. So everybody in the bridal party is aware of what's going on. And no, none of the guests know, not the parents, not the siblings, nobody else knows. And you fuck them up, fuck her up. And so the thing like she's trying to talk about her grief. Well, bitch, your grief is only important to you. It was your man. They don't have nothing to do. I'm marrying mine. And so, I'm sorry yours died, but that don't have shit to do with me. I'm marrying mine, and you're not gonna wear a white dress to my wedding. Talking about attributed to your dead boyfriend. See, me, I would just I mean, I tried to be polite at first, but then if she kept insisting and acting like that and throwing like, you're not being just see that's when I have to like hit her with the hardcore hood rat stuff. But yeah, she's being very disrespectful. And so she would just have to get told. And her clothes would get fucked up. And what I'm afraid of is it's not because she's gonna talk about white and attribute to what she would have wore on her wedding day. Something's telling me that reference means that she gonna show up at your wedding in her wedding with the wedding dress that she planned to wear when she married dude. I don't know. Of course, I don't know that this is true, but the way that she phrased it, white, and what did she say? She wants to wear a white dress to my wedding because it's a tribute to her fiance, white being the color she would have worn at her own wedding. Yeah, but uh, so I'm telling me she gonna put that wedding dress on. So anyway, that is the show for today. We'll be back. And then say hell no. See, that's what I'm saying. We'll be back next Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 if you're on the East Coast. I do the weekend shows a little bit earlier. During the week, I do them at 6. I have to wait for everybody to get home from work and get their dinner and get their kids to bed and all that stuff because, at least get the kids settled because, we be talking about some adult stuff and those little kids don't need to be hearing all of this. So let's do the weekday shows a little bit later. And the weekend is 4 o'clock. Okay. So, ooh, I drink some water with bubbles. I'm in this new bubbly water kick, but it makes you belch. So, you guys, I'll see you on next week. And you guys be good, be safe, be smart. See you Sunday.